Welcome to Fake Presidents, a real podcast about, well, you know.
Each episode, we will take a deep dive into a fictional, not a real American president, a fictional American president from pop culture. Not unpopular culture, popular culture.
Popular culture.
To see just how much fiction, not
nonfiction, not nonfiction.
Let's see how much fiction there really is. And if this is your first time listening to this podcast, I'm sorry for being creative for once.
Well, who are you? Who do you think you are?
This is also when I usually would introduce myself. We don't usually do back-to-back records, so I'm all thrown off. I'm Eric Buckman, a way former political consultant turned current and future and past TV writer and writer of many other things.
It's a full circle. And I'm Ben Oren, a former journalist, sometimes speechwriter, and all-the-time TV producer. And Eric, why are we giving away how we make the sausage here? Let people think that this is just a freewheeling combo that they're popping into. We're not even... Are we recording this? I don't know. It doesn't make a difference. We'd be talking about this no matter what, because that's just the kind of men... Yes, I said it. We're men that you and I are.
We're not dolls. But speaking of dolls, before we get into our main course...
Sure.
There's something I do want to talk about, Ben.
What do you want to talk about?
Our main course, by the way, and just so you know, this is a special episode.
A very special spooky Halloween episode.
Which you'll be listening to in November, whatever. But you're gonna love the episode because this is a role reversal for once wait, are you going to be the balding Jew for this one? I'll take my hat off. No, a role reversal in that last summer for our For All Mankind episode, only I had seen it, and I was basically just bringing Ben up to speed on the crazy, weird alternate history timeline there. As this time the roles are reversed. Ben has been watching 2 episodes of a new TV show on TV about a killer doll that I have not, because I'm a fraidy-cat who does not watch scary things. But before we jump into that doll story, I just want to interject here to talk about a different doll.
Wait, you're interjecting yourself?
I'm going to interrupt myself.
You're interrupting yourself.
I'm going to interrupt my own intro.
That's something that only a really good podcaster or broadcaster can do, is that they're like, I am acknowledging that I'm interrupting myself right now to give you something a little different.
Well, we're going to do Chucky. That's the main course. Ben's seen it. I haven't. He's going to tell me all about it because apparently there's some presidential politics. News to me. But before we talk about the presidential politics of a killer toy, I want to talk about the surprising presidential politics of a movie I've seen twice now that I was hoping we might be able to cover as some sort of big summer recap episode, except it's already November. Too late to do a summer recap episode. And we already talked about Mission Impossible anyway, which is the other big movie
Why
for
do
summer.
you keep saying it's going to be November? This is an episode we're going to fucking turn around. I'm snapping right now. It's going to be so fast. It's going to be ready by Halloween, this episode.
Okay. So then we'll push red, white, and royal blue.
Yeah, let's do this one first. That way it's like the Halloween episode.
Okay, good news, everybody. Coming up in November, red, white, and royal blue. You heard it here first.
Look, if we're feeling good, we could give the people what they want. Like the people on Patreon, our Patreon people, our Patreons, they pay good money to hear like some extra stuff. But you know what? The extra stuff we're going to give to the masses this month. And maybe we'll give 2 episodes in October and then do something else for November. I don't know.
You call Patreon like it's
Patreon.
Betray us.
No, you gotta betray us in order to get the Patreon.
Okay, so look, this is all news to me. This is breaking news. Our new order of episodes. You've heard it here first, audience. Tune in next week, next 2 weeks. Tune in at some point in the future for an already recorded Red, White, and Royal Blue, a movie that Ben and I have a lot of very interesting things to say. So even if you haven't seen that movie and have no intention to see that movie, maybe you don't have Amazon Prime, you'll still want to listen to that episode.
Eric, just give him your Amazon information now so that the people who don't have it can...
Yeah, if you don't have a login, just reach out. We'll figure it out. If you work for Amazon, ignore I just said that.
My name is Andrew Shepard, and I am the president.
Okay, so Barbie, fake president. I have to talk about it. My daughter's begging me. She's like, there's a fake president in Barbie. You have to talk about it on the show. That's why I wanted to spend a good minute plus of time here talking about why we're not going to talk about it. Because guess what, Ben?
What?
There is a fake president. There's a fake White House, actually a pink house. Issa Rae does play the president.
She's Barbie president. She's like the
She's
doll.
the president of Barbie Land, which has its own Supreme Court, which has its own system of government with various circuit courts and lower courts. A surprising amount of this movie revolves around voting and government structure and what role the Ken should play. And
Really?
It's, yeah.
For real? Like, no, this is what Noah and Greta came up with?
Yeah. Sounds like maybe this is the case where I've seen it and you haven't.
I have not seen it.
I don't want to spoil any for you or for our audience. It's out on home video. But yeah, that's why we won't be going into more detail about it, because technically this is a podcast about fake American presidents.
No, this is
not
it's not
Barbie-land
this
presidents.
This is a podcast about fake American presidents. Not technically. This is what it is. This is what we talked about doing for years. That's why we're on episode 50-something out of 76. How many? I don't know how many fake presidents are out there. We're getting pretty close to getting all of them.
At one point, you thought there were only 50 total, and
Yeah.
we've gone well past that.
Well, because time marches on, Eric, and more fake presidents are created.
Issa Rae does play the president. They make it very clear she's a president. She works in a pink house. There is presidential politics. There is Supreme Court politics. This movie is infused with politics, and we could talk about it all.
Wait, do the Barbies on the Supreme Court there look like Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Please tell me they do.
No, they look like Barbies.
Oh, but not with like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like a little like doily and the glasses.
Oh, that might be. You know what? If on my third viewing, I will pay more attention to the décolletage of the Barbies on the Supreme Court. They do wear robes. I just don't know if they're wearing the extra doily around them.
Okay.
But that would be a nice touch in a movie loaded with nice touches. That would not surprise me at all.
Oh.
No, nice touch, good touches. You know, nice. Anyway, nice details.
No, there we. Whoa, Eric,
What?
it's a kids' movie.
Ben, why don't you just talk about fucking Chucky?
Talk about That's funny you say it, because for new episodes of Chucky, they're like, "This is what happened last week on fucking Chucky."
Previously on fucking Chucky.
It's pretty funny. I've never watched, by the way. So this week, like Eric has said, where I'm going to talk to him about sci-fis, which I used to joke with my wife Melissa. It was sci-fi. The Sci-Fi Channel changed their name.
They didn't change their name. They changed their spelling.
The spelling to sci-fi.
Which at the time everyone made fun of them for, except in the grand world of corporate rebrandings, it's pretty tame.
Yeah, worked out at the end for sci-fi. Yeah. Well, they've had Chucky on for the past 3 seasons. They've had 2 seasons already air. This is the 3rd season. Chucky, of course, is the killer doll from Child's Play that started in the late 80s, created by Don Mancini. He's also created the TV show. There is Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2. Maybe there's a 3rd one. There's Bride of Chucky.
I think the 3rd one was the military school.
Sergeant Chucky. Sergeant Corporal Chucky.
I just want to on the record, I have not seen any of the movies, but I've seen all the trailers for them.
Do you really not like, you're not a horror movie person?
I am not. The scariest movie I've seen was Scary Movie 3.
Okay. You know, I got my start in this town writing really bad horror movies.
We call them slasher movies.
Slasher. I wrote what was the slasher? First one I wrote was called Ghost Game.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like it was like Jumanji, but that kills you, kind of, but cheaper. It takes place in a house in the woods. I was basically told that there is a house in the woods and write something. No, for that one, that wasn't. That one, I was a script reader for a production company. And they were like, "What do you think about this script?" And I'd already read a lot of scripts for them. And I was like, honestly, this is the worst script you've ever given me. Like, it doesn't work for this reason, that reason, da-da-da-da-da. Like, okay, well, here's the thing. We have $100,000 to make it, and can you fix it? I was like, yes, I can. And I don't know if I fixed it, but it got made. And then I wrote another movie for them called Cult. And for that one, they took me to an old Chinese restaurant that's on the lot at Universal. They're like, what do you think? I was like, I don't know, this looks like an old Chinese restaurant. They're like, yeah, but couldn't it be a set for a horror movie? And I was like, okay. So I wrote a horror movie called Cult.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
That one starred Taryn Miner and...
Manning.
Taryn Manning and Rachel Miner. Sorry, Taryn Manning and Rachel Miner were both in that movie.
But in the movie, they get fused into one killer presence. That's why you...
I don't want to give anything. You know, we haven't been greenlit for the sequel yet.
Got it. Yeah. It's fun. So basically, you said this sucks, and they said, "Oh, you think you could do better?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yeah, good." And they're like, "Okay."
It's slightly better.
Which is how Barbie got made, actually.
Yeah.
They showed Greta Gerwig an early script just for her thoughts, and she's like, And like, "Oh, you think you can make a better Barbie movie?" And she's like, "Yeah, damn straight I could. Like, fine, do it."
I'm basically the Greta Gerwig of my story. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would make me the Noah Baumbach.
Yes.
Get off my plane.
But I do like a good horror movie. I loved Halloween, Halloween 2, Scream. When I first started dating my wife, we saw, was it not Ring? What was the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar? The Grudge.
No, not doing that.
We'd go to those movies. Oh, so I have a soft spot for horror movies. I especially have a soft spot for horror movies that have some comedy in it, which is why the Scream series is one of my favorites. So last month, I'm just watching, I'm working away from home. I'm on set, and as I do when I'm in a hotel room, I'm watching actual TV for the first time, and I get actual commercials. And so I get a commercial for the new season of Chucky, which I was only vaguely aware was happening in general. And the reveal is that it takes place in Washington, D.C. There's a political bent, and I'm like, I gotta watch these first couple of episodes to see what the deal is, to see whether we get a fake president in the Chucky universe. And we do.
Oh, wow.
Full spoiler alert. There is a fake. Because you know what? If there wasn't, if I was like, and there's not, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in to Fake Presidents.
I'm kind of flabbergasted for two reasons. One is I can't wait to hear how Chucky winds up in the White House. Like, is he the fake president? Or I don't know. And two, I feel kind of ripped off. Because I'm pretty sure during one of our last President's Day special episodes, when we talked about movie franchises that should have a fake president that don't, I pitched Toy Story and said that Woody has to wind up in the White House. Yeah. And I think the makers of Chucky heard that, and they're like, oh, we could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I do. They probably did steal the idea, because that's a great idea. I'd watch that version of Toy Story. But instead, I watched this season of Chucky. Well, not this season. I watched the first 2 episodes. There's 3 episodes out so far. I've watched 2 so far. But yeah, episode 1 is called Murder at 1600.
That was the name of a movie.
It was. Which then made me think, have we done that movie yet? We haven't.
We haven't done it yet. And interesting fun fact for our fans, my original pitch for the title of this podcast was Podcast at 1600. And I think your response was, no one's going to know the reference. I'm like, fine.
And we'll never know, but I think I was right. Sometimes you just got to say exactly what it is. Fake presidents. So, and same thing with Chucky. They're like, well, people know Child's Play. They're like, we don't know. Chucky. We know Chucky.
Oh, yeah.
That's the new title for this.
Yeah. Also, I think there's a rights issue because the remake was called Child's Play while the TV show was called Chucky.
Yes.
And so I think that's because there was like some sort of like someone has the right to do a TV show with this title, but someone else has the right to make a movie with this title. And so that's why you wind up with 2 different Chuckies.
Motherfucker, I'm not asking if you're interested. I'm the president of the United fucking States, man.
This season of Chucky opens up on a kid who's scared in his bed, named as Henry, and he has just moved into a big old house that he believes is haunted. And his mother tries to calm him down. And the only thing that keeps him sane is his doll named Joseph. But here's the thing about Joseph, Eric. It's fucking Chucky. Now, so this kid is with Chucky in his bed, and the mom leaves the room. Chucky smiles at the camera, and then we pan out through the window to reveal that the old house that they have moved into is none other than the White House
of the United States of America.
Of the United States of America. So we have met the First Lady, the First Son, and then with that, the lights go out in the White House. And so Secret Service springs into action. And it's so funny because it's like this is a show about a killer doll that murders humans with ease. With ease. This is made out of plastic. Fucking kills people left and right. And people believe that. But they feel that they needed to justify the fact that the lights went out at the White House by saying, this happened once before in 2015 with President Barack Obama. Like they're referencing it. So this is a real thing that has happened.
So, because like you would never suspend your disbelief that the power could go out.
Yeah, there's like no way. Yeah. But, there's a little doll walking around killing people? Yeah, of course. Of course. That makes total sense. So at this point, we finally get to meet the President of the United States, President James Collins, played by Devon Sawa, who...
from Idle Hands.
Idle Hands, Final Destination.
I've seen trailers for those movies.
I think you would appreciate Final Destination.
That one is almost too freaky. It's the airplane one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Idle Hands, I might have actually seen most of it because that was pitched as much of a comedy.
It is yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Final Destination, there is a dark comedic element to those Rube Goldberg-esque ways that death comes after people. Yeah. So we meet the president. The Secret Service is concerned enough that they put him in the elevator to bring him down to the bunker. And so it's the president, the first lady, Charlotte, the youngest child, Henry, who has Joseph / Chucky, and Grant, who's their teenager. And they're in the elevator together, and all we know is the lights go out again, and one of the Secret Service agents gets bit, and he thinks it's by his bomb-sniffing dog, but I think it was actually by Chucky. But then the lights go back on, and that's it.
Wasn't bit by Commander?
No, it was not bit by Commander. So we have the first family. So they've never been in the series before, any of these people. But then there are 3 OG kids who've been taunted and their lives have been ruined by Chucky in the past.
Okay.
And their names are Jake, Devon, and Lexi. And they're searching for Chucky because they want to kill him.
Okay.
And also he might know where one of their sisters is being kept by I don't know who, because I didn't do any research to see what happened in the first or second season. But they all do this. You'd think they would be very sad and morose. But they're just yeah, Chucky killed our parents and we got to find him and da-da-da-da-da. They still crack jokes. So the next time we see anything presidential is the next day in the press room where the press secretary is talking to reporters. They just want to talk about the crime bill. The press really wants to know about why the power went out.
Yeah.
That's what they really want to know. And they know more than what the press secretary was willing to tell them, because the president's teenage son, he's kind of addicted to TikTok.
Oh.
And that's where he finds his connections. So he is very active online. And so they keep on pushing for answers because this president, President Collins, he was elected as an independent to help heal the nation. And he ran on a platform of transparency.
Drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp. Speaking of the swamp, it appears that he was the governor of New Jersey. He grew up in Jersey City, but he ran on a platform of bringing the country together after years of division and partisanship. That's what he cares about. We see him again. He has breakfast every day with his family. And the thing about this family, they're all freaked out by
TikTok,
by Chucky the doll.
Oh, the doll. Yeah,
the doll. And they're also the kid, the little kid, Henry. He's kind of creepy too, because he talks to the doll.
They haven't said yet how he got the doll.
Did not say yet how he got the doll. Henry could hear the doll. There's some telepathy going on. Chucky, he wants to not go to school with him that day. Instead, Chucky, he wants to spend the day in the Oval Office. So he convinces his dad, this 8-year-old kid convinces his dad, the president of the United States, to bring this creepy-ass doll to work with him.
Take your creepy-ass doll to work day.
Yeah, to sit in the Oval. So Chucky is there as he's taking meetings with the vice president, VP Spence. They're trying to figure out really what happened with the power outage. They suspect that they might have been hacked. And also the president brings up that it's weird that Henry found a doll named Joseph because there's some unspoken tragedy here.
Oh, the last president died in the Lincoln bedroom named Joseph? Is that what it is?
Joseph, maybe. Who knows? But they leave for a meeting to meet with the governor of Rhode Island. And when they're out, Chucky blinks. And Chucky has also already seen something very interesting on the president's desk, a letter opener.
Oh.
A very sharp letter opener. Later in the day, we see more. There's more president. President Collins is already thinking about his second term. He's only been in office, we've established, for a couple of months, but his eyes open up when the Post says that he could be a 2-termer.
I never thought of that.
I never thought of that. I could do this again? Who knew? And the first lady is freaking out because she wants to be compared to the first ladies like Jackie and Michelle. And throughout,
they say Michelle?
They say Michelle.
Okay. So she doesn't hate Michelle Obama.
No. But we know they're independents.
But Jackie, even though she's a Democrat, a lot, especially among Republican, future first ladies, they love to mimic Jackie.
Well, right around then, that's when America was still kind of great.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just...
It was on the cusp of not being great anymore.
Also, talk to Ron DeSantis about being married to a wannabe Jackie.
Is that why she wears gloves that are the gloves are even longer than Jackie? She's like, I'm even more Jackie because my white gloves are even longer.
She wants to invoke Jackie as much as possible to the public while behind the scenes basically being Hillary. Like that's basically what's going on with her. But of course, if you ever say, hey, your partnership's kind of like a Hillary Bill thing, they will shoot you.
Well, it's funny you should say they will shoot you because the kid, Henry, comes home from school and he's still like, he thinks the White House is haunted. So he asks for his Secret Service agent, Teddy, to do a sweep of his room for ghosts.
Oh, I think he asked for a gun.
No. Well, he goes to the room to do a sweep, and Chucky is there. Mm-hmm. And he looks at Chucky. He bends down, looks at Chucky. Chucky looks at him, blinks, and he even finds the letter opener on Chucky's body. He's
but
like,
he
"What's
saw
this?"
Chucky blink?
Yeah. The Secret Service agent sees Chucky blink, finds the letter opener, and before he could even react, and you know this guy, he's a Secret Service agent. He's got great reaction speeds.
When he's sober.
Who knows? But he can't even think whether he will have another drink because with the speed of only a maniacal evil doll can have, he grabs the Secret Service agent's gun, shoots him through the head, and makes it look like a suicide.
A suicide at 1600.
Suicide at, well, go back to the title. It was a murder at 1600.
I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat.
But, with that, the next day, they're trying to figure out what happened. Henry still doesn't want to take Chucky to school. He makes the president take Chucky to the Oval Office again.
Wait, I got to ask, how much media stuff are we seeing at this point? Like, what does the world think happened? Is it like a Vince Foster thing? It's like, oh my God, it's mystery suicide?
The world for now thinks that it's just a suicide, but the press is sniffing things out.
Okay.
They're trying to figure out what the deal is.
Is it one of those things like, oh my goodness, this guy committed suicide, healthy, he just bought a new boat?
Yeah, well, one of them, actually, reporters she hired a private investigator to do a little background check. And the guy's clean as a whistle. But he did, the week before, plan a cruise to Alaska with his wife. And the reporter's like, what? Who would plan a cruise? They're also thinking they want to kill themselves.
The process of planning a cruise can drive you to many thoughts, yeah.
Lead you, yeah. But at this point, the president is aware that his letter opener is missing. Freaks him out a little bit. And everybody is dealing with the death of Teddy in their own ways.
Teddy.
Secret Service agent, such as the elder son, the teenage son, Grant. He just wants to smoke a joint.
Oh.
That's all he wants, to chill out a bit. And he's like, oh man.
Is that legal in DC?
I don't know if it's legal, but he's like, imagine if my parents knew I smoked pot. You know what they cut to? They cut to the president and the first lady ripping bong hits in the bedroom to deal with their... Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We got the president ripping massive bong hits. I've never seen that before. So he's very this makes me think that President Collins, as an independent, this is like a libertarian streak at this point, right?
Sure. Unless he's a total hypocrite, as many politicians are, where it's behind closed doors, he'll do one thing, especially in the bedroom. And then to the world in public, it's the exact opposite and demonizes everyone else for doing the thing that he secretly does himself.
Yeah. We'll see what his crime bill is all about. That might be in a later episode. And eventually the first family, they attend the funeral for Teddy. It's being reported, of course, in all the major news outlets. During this time, Chucky takes this opportunity to give a call to those OG kids who survived seasons 1 and 2 to let them know that he's still out there.
Like a phone call?
He's in a phone call and that good
From
luck.
A landline?
It was a landline. It was a landline that was bleeped out, that it came across on their cell phones as 000000000.
There would still be a record of outgoing phone call from the White House.
Well, we'll see what happens in later episodes. But he doesn't tell them that he's in the White House. However, at that exact moment, they are watching the news and they see the first family walking back into the White House. And who is he holding? The first son. He's holding Chucky. So now they know that Chucky's in the White House. They got to figure out how to get in there. That's how the episode ends.
Okay. So it's less a cliffhanger and more a lean-in.
A lean-in, yes. It sets them off, sets these three kids off on their adventure for the season.
Got it.
How are they going to get into the White House? Are these three teenagers, these orphans, going to find their way into the White House?
Is there anyone else from the Chucky-verse in this?
There's no Bride of Chucky. There's no Jennifer Tilly.
What seed of Chucky?
There's no seeds anywhere.
No kids? No kid Chuckies?
I don't see any kid Chuckies.
What about John Gruden?
John Gruden, he could play Chucky.
This is a presidential favor.
in the next episode, we'll just quickly speed through it.
Sure.
Because we find out at this point, the president and the first lady want to get to the bottom of what really happened with the Secret Service agent. So they bring in an off-the-books spook named Price, who'll have full access to the White House to figure out what's really going on.
Oh, because a Secret Service agent committed suicide, they don't trust the Secret Service to investigate.
But, this plays against... This is the president who ran on transparency.
Right. So he does things off books.
He does off books. He's still very charming. There's nothing feels dirty. It all makes sense, but it just goes against what he ran on.
Now, this joke's not going to make any sense to anyone because we haven't talked about the movie yet, but you know who they should have brought in, right?
Who?
Wesley fucking Snipes.
Wesley fucking Snipes. Through this all now, Chucky is just like running rampant in the White House. As we talked about, he stole a letter opener. That letter opener was a gift from Barack Obama.
Seriously?
To the president. Yes. It was a letter opener that was once owned by Eleanor Roosevelt. I don't know whether it was independently verified that Eleanor Roosevelt had this letter opener, but according to Barack Obama, who told President Collins, this letter opener was Eleanor Roosevelt's.
Gifted the president a letter opener that belonged to not Franklin Roosevelt.
Because we all know Franklin Roosevelt didn't need a letter opener. He just used his teeth.
So,
have you ever seen that portrait of President FDR opening up mail?
He used his teeth?
At the Smithsonian? He used his teeth.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, yeah. Because he couldn't use his legs for anything, you get heightened senses in other ways. And he had very strong teeth as a result. Fuck. And he could just bite through paper in ways that other people couldn't.
I almost believed you there for a second, Ben. Because I'm like, okay. You said you had portrait. I'm like, he's not sitting down for a painting that way. But I'm like, well, maybe Ben meant to say snapshot, and someone got like a candid photo of him doing that, and it was never deleted because back then you couldn't just hit the delete button on your phone. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? You know what? For everybody who subscribes to our Patreon, I'm going to go to one of those AI sites that does pictures. I'm going to ask them to create a portrait of FDR opening up his mail with his teeth. This is a Halloween episode. Let's see how terrifying AI can be in creating this portrait of FDR opening up mail with his teeth.
And also it's the fact that it's President Obama giving what was his last name again?
President Collins. Giving
President Collins a letter opener from a former first lady.
Yeah.
Who does not get name checked by this first lady. This first lady likes Jackie and Michelle.
Yeah.
Does not like Eleanor.
I mean, Eleanor's decor, nobody talks about her decor in the White House.
So you think it's like a coded message? Like maybe this is Barack's way of saying this belonged to not Franklin, but it belonged to Eleanor. You need to empower your wife. You need to work with her, make her your partner. That's the secret to a successful presidency. But he couldn't say that out loud. He just had to do it in the...
He did it through. I mean, I think the way that President Collins looks at the letter opener, and this is really more about Devon Sawa as an actor, he conveyed all of that through just one look.
What was the letter opener found by the dead Secret Service agent's body? Like it's like part of the narrative?
Chucky took it back.
Chucky still has it. Okay, so it's not like first he stole a letter opener.
Yeah.
Then he walked into the kid's bedroom and blew
his brains out. He was racked with guilt for stealing this.
He's a kleptomaniac.
He only saw one way out. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I don't think I mentioned this. Joseph, the name chosen by the child for the Chucky, is actually also the name of his dead brother.
Oh, that's sad.
And that is the tragedy that they lost a child within the previous year.
A child between the teen and the kid?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
We don't know yet. Maybe a twin, maybe younger, maybe older, maybe a conjoined twin. Anyhow, so this letter opener still missing. And then also missing is Chucky.
Joseph.
Yes. President brought Joseph to the Oval Office again. Goes out for a meeting. Comes back. Can't find Chucky.
Can't find Chucky.
Tells the secretary. Is that the proper name for the person who sits outside the Oval Office? The secretary?
I wouldn't call him a personal assistant. Not the valet. I mean, I feel like on The West Wing, they just called what's her name who died?
Mrs. something, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they just called her Mrs. Landingham.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that person, young lady named Samantha, She's like, the president seems really upset that can't find Joseph, can't find this letter opener. I'm going to pop into the Oval Office. See if I can. Let me check. He's stressed out. Maybe he can't see straight. She goes in there. She finds Joseph just laying on the ground. Picks him up. Everybody thinks Chucky's creepy. She kind of thinks he's kind of cute. Looking at him. Well, he comes alive, pulls out the letter opener.
What?
Takes her out in the middle of the Oval Office.
That's crazy.
And Chucky goes, 2 down, 4 to go.
That's 2 down, 4 to go. But who's fucking counting?
That's crazy. 4 to go? Wait, why 4?
I don't know 4. I don't know. They're not telling us anything yet. And by the way, this letter opener, it just doesn't slice the artery. It's just not a bleed out. The head basically pops off.
Okay. I mean, what kind of mail was Eleanor Roosevelt opening that she needed a fully serrated blade?
She was opening maybe like an actual mail.
M-A-L-E.
An M-A-L-E. This letter opener was no fucking joke, man. It was like that sword in Kill Bill.
Oh my goodness.
And Chucky just then walks off. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna. I did that.
2
That's funny.
down.
2 down, 4 to go. Price, the spook, finds the body. Instead of telling anybody about it, brings in the first lady. The two of them figure out a way to smuggle the body out.
Oh.
Because they don't want to do anything to ruin this presidency.
Yeah, second death, this one in the Oval Office. I mean, that's I mean, if that keeps happening to you enough times, you might wind up the host of an MSNBC morning show.
Exactly. I mean, he says that the president's legacy and the country's ability to heal hangs in the balance. That's why they can't let it get out. So cleaners come in, White House cleaners. There's White House plumbers. There's also White House cleaners.
And that's what their van says, White House cleaners on the side?
Pretty much. More or less. And they create a fake story to tell the president why his secretary isn't there, that she went to rehab.
Oh.
And then she's like,
wow.
Yeah. And then he's like, I would love to visit her. And the first lady's like, no visitors for 2 weeks. Rules. Haha. There's rules.
So forget Eleanor Roosevelt. This is Edith Wilson. She's secretly pulling the strings of this
She's pulling the
presidency.
strings. And Chucky, there's no strings with Chucky. So
good segue.
Yes.
How dare you come into this office and bark at me like some little junkyard dog? I am the President of the United States.
Finally, those 3 OG kids, they figured out a way into the White House by befriending the older first son over TikTok because he's very lonely. And one of the 3 OG kids she's a hot chick. Mm-hmm. So they find their way almost into the White House. First lady won't let these rando kids in until she meets their guardian. The guardian is like a teacher who survived Chucky.
Okay.
And goes in to meet the first lady. And the first lady leaves for a second. And who fucking comes into the room to take out this woman who's been through the shit, who's been taking care of these kids? Chucky. Chucky suffocates her with the American flag in the White House. 3rd murder. And you know what Chucky says? 3 down, 3 to go.
Are American flags that impermeable?
I guess so. And Chucky was got it right over her like a plastic bag.
Okay, so oh wow. And where were the kids?
The kids are waiting to see whether they could get to the White House. They're staying at Watergate, actually.
Okay, they're staying at Watergate. That makes sense. And so 2 deaths in this one episode.
2 deaths, 3 total. At this point, the first lady's freaking out, man. She's keeping secrets from her husband. She's keeping secrets from the American people. She wants to tell everybody. But the spook Price is like, no. We can't have transparency. America is built on secrets. And in fact, Price pulls out an envelope. In the envelope are photographs. Photographs of the president kissing another woman. And she's like, I know about this. We resolved this. This was a thing that I knew about and we worked out. Yeah. He's like, but the American people don't know. And transparency. How much do you believe in transparency now, Miss First Lady?
Devon Sawa, wow, how could you?
Yeah. And so that's how the episode ends. And you know what, dude? I'm invested. This is a fun show. It is dumb. It is dumb as all shit. It is arch. It is campy. And it all works for me.
I'm still trying to picture her trying to kill someone with Old Glory.
Maybe it was an old flag that
did Chucky
made out of flannel.
Did Chucky have like a one-liner? Like, pledge allegiance to this.
He did say something. I did not write it down. But I could record. I don't know how to record. You do that recording stuff. But I could find the time code for you.
No, I can't do that because for me to find the time code and find the thing, I'd have to watch the episode and I might actually see something scary. I don't. So I can't risk it.
I just couldn't resist the thought of making those kids orphans one more time.
So nothing is scary. There's like the tension of like a potential jump scare whenever.
The tension's the
it's
tension's
only,
the worst.
but here's Chucky always fucking does it. So you just have to count down to 5. And then eventually it's always somebody stares at Chucky. They're like, oh, this is a weird fucking doll. And they're like, okay, I'm about to put Chucky down. And then Chucky like arches an eyebrow, opens his eyes, smiles. And then the person's like, what? And before they know it, they're dead.
How? Because I'm the goddamn president of the United States of America.
Okay, well, thank you for all that, Ben. I'll give you one more chance to convince me to try to watch the series. Is there anything politically about the series that you think if you told me, I would be hooked?
To see how an independent president navigates a potential administration-shattering scandal, such as Secret Service agents mysteriously committing suicide inside the White House, other people dying in the White House. I think that's an intriguing premise. Somebody, a president who built himself up and his administration up on the idea of full transparency, keeping some of the biggest secrets, which eventually one of those secrets might be they're supernatural in the world and dolls can come alive and kill people. I don't know. Okay. Maybe at the end of this, maybe he knows. Maybe he's like, oh, and there's a whole lab somewhere full of like evil dolls. Maybe that's what Chucky's looking to get to. Maybe that's why we still don't know why Chucky has chosen this path to get into the White House.
And he says 2 of 4, right?
He says 2 of 4, 3 of. He says 2 of 6, 3 of 6. So that's my pitch to why you should give Chucky a watch.
It's
a different take. I've never seen. I think other than maybe one of the Purges, I don't think we've seen horror and politics come together in this way.
Interesting. I'll say this. Yeah, we have not watched the Purge election year because I don't want to watch this. I might have to one of these Octobers if we're on long enough. So if you were to tell me, we'll do an update later. We'll let you check in maybe before or after another episode. We might not focus a whole nother Chucky episode. But if you tell me that there's an episode, speaking of, you mentioned Cabins in the Woods.
Yes.
If there's a Camp David episode where they actually infuse some vacationing presidential time and then the horror that follows them.
Yeah.
I would be intrigued. If there's an Air Force One episode, I'm definitely watching. If Chucky gets on Air Force One. If there is anything in the House or Senate buildings, like if we actually, or a vote on the floor, I'm in totally.
Okay. I am going to keep watching.
Okay, well, thank you, Ben, for taking I'm not going to say bullet for me, taking the letter opener from me on that one.
Yeah, taking the letter. Watch out. Watch out for those letter openers. This has been Fake Presidents.
Yeah, and this has been Chucky. I'm Eric Buckman.
I've been Ben Oren. Have a wonderful Halloween, everybody. And by the way, we don't have any spooky music, but our music is by Johnny Sadoff.
The artwork is by Ann Hecker.
Oh, wait, should we do like the Simpsons thing where it's like Johnny Scary Sadoff and Ann Horrible Hecker?
No, because then I feel like then for every other episode, we should be doing like a presidential version of our names. You're Ben Franklin Oren. And I'm Eric.
Well, we would run out.
I
feel like we would run out of things pretty quickly because every episode is a presidential episode, Eric.
What else is there? What do we say? We say rate, review, subscribe.
Yeah. Where can you find us?
I mean, we're still on all the social media, so if you're on it, we'll be there. But that said, the ones that we're more focused on now is Threads, fake_presidents, and Instagram, fake_presidents. You could also find me on Blue Sky and Threads. That's just E. Buckman, Buchman. And then you can email us, fakepresidents@gmail.com. If you ever want to hear Ben fully recap entire episodes of other series, let us know, because he sees everything.
I'm down.
Except for Barbie.
I'm holding out to see if they followed up with Barbie 2. I want to make sure that they complete the story.
Okay. That's what Ben wants. Ben's like, not enough sequels in this town.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
That was the most fun I've ever had at the movies, was seeing Scream with a full packed house of college kids.
Now, I saw that winter break going back home from school.
Okay.
And I remember because I saw a bunch of high school friends. And after the movie, we went back to one of the people's houses. And it was already midnight. It was late. It was just us, like 5, 6 of us, like high school friends hanging out. But for some reason, the person whose house it was, her little brother was still awake. And he's like 10. It's kind of cute that he's trying to hang out with us. And so for some reason, we start talking about like scary slasher type stuff in our real lives. Oh, that time I thought I was being followed. You know, people telling us those stories. And so I did mention in real life, I freshman year of college, I got some weird emails from somebody who clearly knew who I was, but didn't want to say who they were. You know, I was like, oh, maybe I'm being followed. And then I just open the window and say, hey, out there, if there's anybody following me, honk your horn. And I reached for the panic button on my keychain in my pocket and hit the button. So the horn starts blaring.
Yeah.
The girl's little brother started to cry. He was so scared.
Eric. So mean.
But, you know, they'd be like, no. No one's really following me. I was just my...
That was actually kind of a scene in I Know What You Did Last Summer. You are like the Jennifer Love Hewitt. You have a similar body type. And she's like, here I am. Come and get me.
Ben's not wrong. Jennifer Love Hewitt and I are both 5'4". So, same height.
Rockin' bots.